Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, the new Transformers comic roller coaster ride continues as we review Skybound's devastating Transformers number 5. Today is Friday, February 16th, 2024. This is episode 377 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that knows you need to bring more than a handgun to a giant robot fight. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Char, aka Robo Apollo.
Hello, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hi there. Let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and keep this show going. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. Get lots of perks, some bonus content, including our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. That's available to all our Donatrons on our Patreon page. Features Daryl and Dr. Pants showing off all their big bots. Every episode features a different character. Got 12 episodes out right now. More on the way at some point in 2024. We'll see. But it's a good show. We enjoy it. Lots of folks are watching, and you're a Donatron, you get access to it immediately. Also, we've got our Transformers live play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. Currently, we have the side story, the Rustford Files, going on. We got episode 11 of the Rustford Files just premiered this week, The Snake Machine. You can check out all the episodes at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. After this episode, one more episode 12 is the last episode of the Rustford Files, and we will move on into season 3 of Empire of Rust. So stay tuned for that, just a few more weeks. We've still got copies of our Transformers number 1 exclusive retailer incentive cover with art by EJ Sue. You can pick that up at our website, transmissionspodcast.com/comic. If you're going to TFCon LA, you can order some comics there. You can order it on our website there for pickup at TFCon LA. You get it. That's free shipping because we're going to bring it anyway. Daryl and I will be at TFCon LA, so you can meet us and we will give you the comic that you paid for. You can also get that comic signed by the cover artist, EJ Sue, who will be at TFCon LA. So, it's a win-win-win. And lastly, of course, continue to use our 15% off Toy Hacks code at toyhacks.com. Love TFs is the code, LOVETFS. Love TFs for the lovely month of February. So use our code 15% off at toyhacks.com. All your purchases at toyhacks.com, you can get 15% off. Use that code as many times as you like throughout the month of February. Love TFs at toyhacks.com. All right. So let's get into what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to review Transformers number 5. Let's go. All right.
I'm the Transformers book on a Transformers podcast. How much you want to bet they don't talk about G.I. Joe in this book?
Hey, there's military stuff going on. Sparky was in wartime. He's a soldier in the army,
Yo,
Kinda.
Autobots.
All right. This is a spoiler review of Transformers number 5. So hopefully you've read Transformers number 5 before you have started watching this podcast. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go all into deep detail and depth in it. So stay tuned for that. Writer and artist, Daniel Warren Johnson. Colorist, Mike Spicer. Letterer, Russ Wooten. Editors, Sean Mankiewicz and Jonathan Manning. Publication design, Andres Juarez. And production, Ashby Florence. So lots of covers. We're not going into the covers. Skybound has broken us for talking about covers. There's just too many covers to go over. But check those out. And in a few months, there will probably be lots of reprint covers. So take a look at that. But if you picked up this comic, it was exciting. So we're going to talk about all the stuff that happened. In the chapel of the hospital where Spike is still recovering, Optimus Prime and Sparky commiserate over their shared experience as soldiers. Their battlefields were different, but the trauma is the same. Sparky asks how long Prime has served in war. Optimus tells him it's been countless years and there's no end in sight. He tells Sparky he wishes he knew why war, destruction, and suffering seem to persist everywhere in the universe, but his long years and experience have not given him that wisdom. Back at the Ark, Skywarp's sacrifice is bearing fruit for the Decepticons. Starscream is elated to get more Decepticons back online so he can finally crush the Autobots and their human pets. He rejects Soundwave's desire to reactivate his cassette Ravage first, opting for the more powerful Thundercracker. When Thundercracker awakes, he is horrified to see his fellow Seeker Skywarp mutilated as his components have been integrated into Teletran 1. Thinking the Autobots did it, he vows revenge. As more Decepticons like Reflector and Frenzy get reactivated, Soundwave reports from Laserbeak that the Autobots have found the power plant where the Decepticons got their energy. Starscream orders all the newly activated Decepticons to follow him since they have to stop the Autobots before they can get any more of their warriors back online. Near the power plant, Sparky shows the Autobots the dam that drives the hydroelectric power plant the Decepticons destroyed. The Autobots use the metal left at the old quarry to build a super efficient Cybertronian turbine that can generate the energon they need. Ratchet needed his old buddy Wheeljack to help with the technical details. But with almost no energon reserves, he had to jerry-rig Wheeljack's legs with raw metal instead of reassembling him completely. Wheeljack is ready to get his device turned on so he can get his own body properly repaired along with the rest of the Autobots back online. Wheeljack gives the signal, and Cliffjumper on the top of the dam throws the switch. The turbine comes to life and crackles with energy. Optimus brings the body of RC as the first Autobot to be reactivated. The machine does its job and RC comes back online. Ratchet gives her a hug and welcomes her back, but as he embraces her, she sees danger in the air above them. She jumps up immediately and throws Ratchet to the ground, protecting him from the aerial assault Thundercracker unleashes. Starscream realizes what the Autobots are doing and orders the Decepticons to attack and destroy the turbine. Optimus and Sparky open fire on the attacking Decepticons. Optimus orders the Autobots to protect the turbine at all costs, while Ratchet revives more Autobots. RC and Ratchet get Jazz's body in position to reactivate him as Starscream drops Reflector in for a ground assault. Reflector transforms from camera to robot and dives in on Optimus Prime, firing 2 blasters. But Prime raises his right arm, Megatron's arm, with the fusion cannon attached. Reflector doesn't have time to do anything but reflect on his life choices as he's blasted out of the sky. Frenzy is upset at his fellow Khan's demise, but Prime takes advantage of his hesitation, grabs him by the leg, and slams him into the wall of the dam. At the top of the dam, Cliffjumper and Carly take cover from Thundercracker's firepower. But Carly wants to fight back too. She fires at Thundercracker with a pistol, but it does nothing to a giant metal robot. Thundercracker's blasts destabilize the dam structure around her, and she loses her footing, falling to the ground and certain death below. Cliffjumper reaches out too late to grab her, and Prime and Sparky can only watch in horror below as Carly falls. But RC can think and act really fast. She transforms into her sleek sports car mode, drives up the surface of the dam, spins to the side, and opens her door so Carly falls safely inside her. Cliffjumper celebrates RC's return and the rescue of his new friend, but he doesn't see Rumble coming behind him to crush him with his pile drivers. Luckily, Jazz is there to take Rumble out before he can attack. On the ground, Starscream transforms to confront Optimus Prime, who is still wielding Megatron's fusion cannon. Starscream calls him out for defiling the symbol of the Decepticon cause. But Optimus Prime just throws it back in his face that Starscream is always cowering in front of Megatron and that this arm is a reminder of what he'll never be. Starscream bellows in rage and comes at Prime. Prime fires the cannon, but Starscream ducks and gets past Optimus to destroy the Autobots' turbine. No more Autobots will be revived today. Starscream tries to celebrate his victory, but Prime blasts him in the back. Starscream is wounded, but not done. He calls for a Decepticon retreat as the cons return to the Ark. The Autobots now have numbers on their side, and Optimus wants to press the advantage. He wants to take back the Ark and end the Decepticon threat now. He calls for the Autobots to transform and roll out, but Carly stands in the way. She wants to come too. The Decepticons have taken everything from her, and she wants to see them ended. Both Optimus and Sparky tell her it's too dangerous and drive off without her. But Cliffjumper understands. He pulls Carly into his driver's seat and tells her to keep her head down. As night falls, the Autobots finally get back to the mountain and the crash site of the Ark. They're ready to meet the Decepticons head on. But it's an ambush. 6 heavy construction vehicles brutally charge into the Autobots, causing heavy damage. Starscream appears and gloats that he knew the Autobots would follow him back. But the Decepticons still have a full Energon supply and Teletron 1. So Starscream revived the heavy hitters of the Decepticon forces, the Constructicons. Gleefully, Starscream gives the order to end the Autobots once and for all. Merge into Devastator. To be continued. Ooh. This was a good one. This is another banger. Daniel Warren Johnson.
Did you say Teletron one?
No.
Mm-hmm.
We know what you meant.
Teletran one. Yes.
Sorry, continue.
Daniel Warren Johnson. I mean, awesome. I mean, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, whatever rating. How did you do that?
I made hearts with my hand. It's magic.
You on a Mac?
Yes.
Yeah.
For people, if you're not watching the video, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you got to watch the video. Char is a wizard. I guess
Jeremy is
both.
too.
Yeah, both Jeremy and Char are coming from Hogwarts or something. But yeah, this was everything. I mean, this book had everything. It was great. The story, the heart of the story with Prime and Sparky on their shared feelings on the they're both warriors, but they understand the horror of war. I think that those 3 pages in the beginning communicate that beautifully. The whole book with the Autobot Decepticon action throughout the whole book was awesome. And then the last 2 pages with the introduction to Devastator. I mean, I don't know where they go from here on issue 6. I don't know how the Autobots going to get. How are the Autobots going to get out of this one? This is going to be tough in issue 6. So, but yeah, this was another just awesome. I still think 3 is my favorite out of this series so far. But this, they're all like at the top of the scale for me. So, I just love this. I loved RC. RC's introduction was just amazing. Having her immediately jump into the battle and be, such a badass there. Loved it. I mean, I guess if you're gonna have any G1 complaints, that Reflector was not 3 bots, was only 1 bot. I mean, if you're gonna complain about that, I mean, go ahead, but that was not an issue for me. But
that. I would complain about that.
Okay, Daryl, that's fine. You'll get your chance, Daryl. Don't worry. But this was, I loved it. All right, Daryl, let's start with you. What did you think?
Okay. I honestly, I was just kidding there. I really don't care that they put Reflector into one guy. In the cartoon, he talked at all three of them talked at the same time anyway. They were essentially just one character anyway. This was a really good issue. I enjoyed it a lot. The kind of shared experience at the start was fun. You get a bit of a glimpse as to a couple of characters that we're not going to see because they're dead already. So it looks to me that Blaster is dead and Red Alert is dead. So yeah, they're not coming.
Ooh.
They're not coming to the party. It was very good. Starscream's he's a special kind of asshole in this issue. He kicks Soundwave's dog. Like that's
Dog?
I mean, he's not
Dog,
a dog, I know, but I mean
Dog.
that's just the metaphor I'm using,
Okay,
right? Like
okay.
you don't kick the dog, right? But yeah, I mean, it's you don't he kicked
Oh.
Ravage, man. And he
Yeah.
punted him. Like he
Yeah.
full on kicked him. Super Bowl weekend, here we are, and he punted him.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know. I was really entertained by this. It's a great issue, you know. I enjoyed the fact that they brought Wheeljack back, but only half so that he could help. It's just like we don't really only needed your brain, so we needed you to kind of help with what we've got going on here. So yeah. When the turbine is destroyed, there is a bot on the slab, and I was trying to figure out who it was.
Beachcomber?
It does look like Beachcomber, but he's got one of those like Trailbreaker or like grapple, cannon arms on his hand. So I don't know if that's if that is Beachcomber, but it is a blue bot and blue and white bot. So it could be just some unnamed kind of filler material until they could figure out who the hell, because it doesn't matter who it is because they're not getting woken up yet. But all in all, I really liked it. I like the fact that they made RC a Lamborghini. For all you car enthusiasts out there, RC is now a Lamborghini. I can't tell if they've picked a specific model, but it is most definitely a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. It looks like the Siege Sideswipe alt mode.
Kind of, but that's because Sideswipe was a Lamborghini. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, but this is most definitely a Lamborghini. The art is fantastic again. Something that I've noticed, and I've definitely critiqued other artists in the past for not doing it, is the lack of backgrounds. There is a serious lack of backgrounds in this issue, in Daniel Warren Johnson's art altogether. But he fills it with such motion, like everything's always moving in his art. So the backgrounds, you don't notice them missing as much. It's when I stop and I say, okay, well, where's the background in this picture? Okay, well, it's filled with a giant explosion. Okay, or it's all speed lines or something like that. Okay, so it's everything kind of works. Whereas with other artists, you really notice there's no background at all, and everything's just kind of static. This is really cool. It looks great, and I really can't critique it all that much. His art, you compare like an Alex Milne to a Daniel Warren Johnson. Both of them are fantastic artists. Both draw Transformers really well. Alex is much more fine detail, right? And you got a lot of detail with Alex's art. Daniel Warren Johnson is, there's not a whole hell of a lot of detail going on there, but it's still wonderful artwork, and you get the point across, right? You can. It's like your brain fills in where the missing detail is, but it looks fantastic, and there is a lot to be said for the colorist Mike Spicer, because there is an awful lot of heavy lifting being done by Mike Spicer's colors on this, and I want to make sure that he gets the credit that he's due, because colorists tend to not get the credit that they should, because it would all be black and white, and you'd miss out on a lot of other detail there. So a lot of shading and stuff. So anyway, long story short, I really enjoyed it. I'm really into this story. This is a book that was made for me. So there's not a lot of plot happening, and I love it. Can digest it easily.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, and just speaking of the art, having Optimus Prime with Megatron's arm and then having him transform with the fusion cannon just hanging out there on the side of the truck. I thought that was such a cool little detail that Daniel Warren Johnson put in there. And it's just all his just work on designing all these bots and all the dynamic action, like it's just so fluid and feels like it's moving throughout the comic. All the action he's doing is just so evocative. So it's really cool. All right, Shar, what did you think of this book?
I really liked this issue. So I wasn't on when you guys reviewed issue 4, but poor Skywarp. Like I just have to say poor Skywarp. So he looks pretty dead at the beginning of this issue. When a transformer is fully gray, it's like, yeah, they're dead. They're dead. So yeah, I really liked this issue. I thought it had a lot of good action, and the Autobots, were able to make, bring back a few, Wheeljack. I think he came back in this one. But RC, they brought her back and she's really cool. And one of my favorite scenes is when she saves Carly. She's like, "You're important to Optimus Prime, so you're important to me." And then she does that slide and opens
Mhm.
her door and Carly gets in. I thought that was super cool. Um, Starscream's my favorite character, but it's really hard for me to like him because he's so mean. He's so mean. I'm just but you have to have good villains, and it is really interesting that whole line that you pointed out, Charles, where Starscream was commenting on Optimus using Megatron's arm, and he's like, "Well, you're cowering in front of this gun,"
Mhm.
kind of insinuating he's a coward, and um, but the action's really nice. Um, with the way this issue ended, though, with Devastator ready to devastate,
Mhm.
I don't know how they're gonna get past this because Optimus is looking pretty beat up. Like his, his right arm's Megatron's arm, his left arm's pretty shredded.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know. The Autobots just keep getting hit one after the other. I don't know how they're gonna get through this. So
Yeah.
um, it does leave me wanting to read the next issue, which is, proof of a good story, where it
Mhm.
you're on a cliffhanger and you're like, oh, I'd have to wait a month to read the next one. Um, I know the colors, as Daryl pointed out, the coloring's incredible. Um, the art is incredible. Um, it's I'm really looking forward to this and the next issue, but I don't know how they're going to handle. 'Cause Daniel Warren Johnson's committed to doing the first 10, right?
Oh, is he? I mean, I know he's said
Just
he's
6. It's
doing
just the first
First
6.
6.
well,
Yeah.
Okay,
he's doing
first
the
6.
art,
He's
but
continuing on
he's
as a
continuing
writer.
writing. Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
writing from issue 7, and there's going to be a
Okay.
new artist starting in issue 7.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, so it's issue 6. So I wonder from issue 7 on who the artist is,
We
and
have
if they
that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
You
we
have
Yeah.
that? Okay. I've been out of the loop for a month, so um
Um, the Jorge Corona.
Okay.
Maybe.
Or
I wonder if they give Optimus Megatron's other arm, and he becomes some kind of Optimus of Theseus.
He just slowly
Eh.
becomes Megatron.
Yeah.
My suspicion is Soundwave has been throughout the series kind of pushing back a little bit against Starscream. I'm wondering if kicking Ravage, if Soundwave is going to play some role in Starscream's defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't mess with Soundwave's tapes. That's not the that's
No.
not the play.
No. Skywarp, who cares? Just for
Right.
Soundwave. That you mess with Ravage, that's war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, you got the last word.
All right. Well, excellent. As the word. This is just another great book. I go back to the characterization of these like Optimus and RC and Starscream, and just they're all just spot on. You get to see like Char mentioned with RC not knowing anything about Charlie other than Optimus cared about her. So that means she's important, and just running in to save her. And I think that's just awesome. And, Wheeljack being used just for his mind at this point. I think just the characterization of all these Autobots and Decepticons have been spot on. And the art at times was a little bit, I guess, messy, but I think it's also because there's just so much action happening on the screen. It's intended to be messy just to kind of show you the movement and the violence and everything that's going on. So not really a complaint, just pointing out that it took me, I had to like stare at some of these panels for a little while just to fully kind of understand everything that I was seeing. But no real complaints there. I think like you guys have mentioned, the coloring is great. There are some panels that you can tell most of the work is being done by the coloring. Like when Optimus is like blasting Starscream with Megatron's fusion cannon, a lot of that is purely the coloring kind of getting the impact of that across. So I think the Devastator, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with bringing Devastator in this early in the series, but I'm not the one writing the book. So we'll see, how he's used and stuff. And I saw, I mean, I'm hoping issue 6 doesn't end on an Autobot defeat, with the first arc, but it's entirely plausible that could happen. But, we'll see. Maybe a surprise Grimlock appears or something. I don't know, but I am just so fully invested in this book. I think it is just fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, what more is there to say? It's yeah. One thing I really also liked was the we talk about the characterizations. You also feel for some of the Decepticons there. Like,
Yeah.
even though they're the villains, you feel for Thundercracker. He's like, "Oh, my friend Skywarp, what happened to him?" And it's like, your leader Starscream's kind of the asshole who destroyed Skywarp. But and then like Reflector and Frenzy, they get a little bit of, you're like, oh, these are nice. These are good buddies. They'd be hanging out, but then you feel a little bit for him when he gets a face full of fusion cannon.
Right.
But it's still an awesome scene.
One more thing I wanted to point out: those first couple pages with Optimus and Sparky kind of sharing their shared military experience and just no words at all. And so much comes across in those pages just with the art, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean how they each scene is like a perfect like mirror image of that of each one, and how they had like the exact same things happen to them, like losing a comrade on the battlefield, then having that pain and hurt turn to anger and rage, and then you do to the enemy what the enemy has done to you, and it's like that's a cool kind of, it evokes kind of the horror of war, and then how it's an endless cycle, and all those themes are and with no words, just shows all those themes right there on the page. It's really cool. Yeah. All right. Well, if you haven't already read Transformers #5, go get it and read it. Read it again. Get ready for issue 6, and probably issue 6 might be out around the time TFCon LA is hitting. So maybe the week after that. So we'll see. But yeah, it's been firing on all cylinders. Daniel Ward Johnson was the right guy to take up the Transformers series here. He he's done an awesome job. So yeah, keep going. All right. Well, that is our review of Transformers #5. Let us know what you thought. Leave a comment on the video on YouTube, or send us an email if you want to leave us some feedback. Send us voicemails. We've got that feedback. You can do transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. There you go. Let's move on. We're just got a little bit of the show left. We're gonna move on to some convention news.
All right. In convention news this week, we have some more TFCon LA announcements. TFCon LA is coming up quick, March 8th through 10th. And they've announced that Vince DiCola, composer for Transformers the movie, and also was it Transformers Angry Birds? He did the soundtrack for that too. Can't forget that. But he is going to be there. I'm kind of jealous that you guys are going to get to meet him. I'm not. Next up, we have Charles's favorite relative that's not a relative, Arthur Burkhart, the voice of Devastator in G1 and Destro. He's also going to be there. He kind of adopted Charles a few years ago at TFCon.
He probably doesn't remember.
He probably doesn't remember.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have the voice actor for Chip Chase from G1, Michael Horton. He is going to be showing up. I'm not sure if I've ever seen him at a convention before, but
I don't think so.
They didn't call out like first Transformers convention or anything, but awesome that he's going to be there. So, Chip Chase is a character that never really showed up anywhere else. So, hopefully we get more of him at some point, but voice actor Michael Horton's going to be there.
I want to point something out here. If they can get Corey Burton, which I know is a pretty big ask, but it is LA, and I'm pretty sure he lives there. If they can get Corey Burton, then they will have all the living actors for 1984's cast.
Wow.
That's amazing.
There's only like 6 of them, so it's not that hard. But
well, yeah. But it's hard in that it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Corey Burton is also a very high price. I'm sure.
He's still pretty popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TFCon LA is going to be amazing.
It's a good convention.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to go. This is the first time I'm going to TFCon LA, so I'm looking forward to it.
I made a list today. I made my list of all the things that I may need to bring, and then I'll start cutting. Got a lot of cutting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't bring a short box on the plane.
No, I can't.
All right. Well, that's all convention news. Let's finish up the show with some feedback. All right. We have some another YouTube comment from last week's episode, alt mode transmissions, alt mode 376. These comments are both from the Rev Nation, who's been, I think, a regular listener / watcher for a little while. The Rev Nation has a comment about the Void Rivals announcement from that we talked about last week, where they kind of spoiled the reveal of Springer there. So the Rev Nation says, word on the ground in my part of the world is completely different. This has hyped anticipation for Void Rivals more than previously. All the talk last week was about Void Rivals, Springer, and the Wreckers. Before this, Void Rivals, maybe I'll get it. Now, get it, get in my pull box. I understand where you guys are coming from, though. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's,
I mean, that might be the word on the ground in my part of the world too. I rarely leave my house. I'm just, my complaints are from me alone about the spoilers. I mean, I could be completely off base, and that's fine. It won't be the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the comics industry needs to do away with this 3-month lead time thing, where everything has if books don't sell, like if book orders don't come in for a book 3 months ahead of time, then the books are already declared like not sellers. I mean, that's not really it's you're not making it easy for new comics to find their audience. But whatever. I mean, I don't know. I can't fix the comic industry. Rev Nation also no. Rev Nation also has another comment. This is for Daryl. Just a word of thought. My favorite segments of alt mode has become Daryl's rants on G.I. Joe. Yo, Joe.
Perfect.
Means we're going to continue to subject him to G.I. Joe.
Apparently, I mean, that means we have the Cobra Commander is a 4 or 5 issue mini, because the Duke is 4. We know that. So are they both 4?
I thought they were both 5. No, they're both 5. I thought they were both 5.
Oh, shit.
Good luck, Daryl.
Well, then I got, what was that? 7
8 more issues.
8 more?
Yeah. Oh, no, 7.
Yeah,
7.
You're
right. 7.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Charles, I think this is the 10th anniversary of the Tom Scioli book.
Oh.
We should revisit that.
I don't think so. No, I didn't even finish it. I didn't even finish it. I hated it so much. I stopped buying it. It was such trash. And I don't stop buying anything Transformers.
Wow.
Trash.
The opinions of Daryl do not are not representative of the entire Transmissions podcast.
No.
I'm 1/4 of this show.
Yeah.
I have 1% voting. I am. Yeah.
You have 1/4 of the voting.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Charles has 98%.
Oh,
and
okay.
we all split the rest of the voting. So, but I buy like 95% of the toys. So not this week though.
Yeah.
Anyway, G.I. Joe sucks.
It's very
all right. Well,
opinion, Daryl.
I try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Easy to understand. Don't want to mix metaphors.
All right. Well, that's all our feedback. So that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. As always, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions at the end of every episode. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon. That's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forex Levengood and Demon Tech 82. You guys are awesome. Shar, you are also awesome. Thank you again for hanging out with us this week. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online and get that commission information out there?
Yeah, no, thanks. It's always a blast to be on here. So, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Robo Apollo. By the time this episode comes out, I will have officially opened commissions again. I would love to go to TFCon LA, but in order to do so, I'll have to sell some commissions. So please consider commissioning me. I'm working on a commission right now. It's super cool. Um, I have to ask the person still if I can post it once it's done. But yeah, so that's all I'm promoting.
Awesome. All right. And we'll make sure to include all those links in our show notes on our website so you can find them really easily. All right, everyone. That's it. Thanks for watching and listening to this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.